It's Jessica Pock from Mirror Lake. Thanks for tuning in today. Today we're going to talk about compound words. A compound word is made up of two whole words that stand alone when you take it apart. For example, one of my favorite desserts, the word cupcake. I see that it's one word, and if you tuned in yesterday, hey, it's also two syllables, cupcake. But when I cover up the word cake, the end of that word, I see the word cup, which is a word on its own that I know. Then when I cover the beginning of the word, I also see the word cake, another delicious dessert. So then I see that it's one word, which makes a compound word because it's made up of two separate words, but it's combined into one. Another food I'm thinking about that's also a compound word is something you cook in the microwave, and you can put butter and salt on it. They sell it at the movie theaters. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? The word I'm thinking of is popcorn. So you can see that if it's a compound word because the word pop is something that I know. And also if I cover up the front of the word, corn is another word that I know as well. So today I have a nonfiction, which is a true story about a brave woman named Jane Goodall. Maybe you've heard of her. She is most famously known for researching and studying chimpanzees in Gombe, Africa. This book is called The Watcher, Jane Goodall's Life with the Chimps by Janette Winter. While reading along today with me, let's look for compound words. Again, it's one word that's made up of two whole words that stand alone when you take it apart. Here's the learning target, so our goal for today. I will identify or find compound words in a text. Just like always, you can feel free to make a chart on your own too, in a journal or on scratch paper, or just follow along on here as well if you want. So compound word, so maybe something like you find the compound word, then the first word, maybe you make a chart like this, first, then second, and then the compound word together. So if I had made that chart, it would be cup as the first word, cake as the second word, together it's cupcake. So if you notice a compound word while I'm reading today, scream as loud as you can at the TV or computer until I pause. Just kidding. Don't do that. Seriously, I won't be able to hear you. All right, let's get started in reading The Watcher, Jane Goodall's Life with the Chimps by Janette Winter. Again, we're looking for those compound words while we're reading. Jane, Jane, where are you? Jane, can you hear me? Everyone had been searching for hours and hours looking for little Valerie Jane Goodall. Then, from the hen house, Jane came running to her mother, shouting, I know how an egg comes out! At 5 years old, Jane was already a watcher. I see a compound word on this page. Do you see it too? That's right. It's the word hen house. I see, if I cover the word house, I see the word hen. And if I cover that word, I see the word house. That making, again, a compound word. Jane watched all the animals in her world, big and small, earthworms, insects, birds, cats, dogs, and horses. Hey, there's another compound word. Again, there's the word earth, and there's the word worm, and together that makes a compound word. Jane quietly watched an English robin at her window for days and weeks. She saw him come closer, then into her room to eat some crumbs off her bed. When spring came, the robin even built a nest in Jane's bookcase. I see another word right there, another compound word, the word book and the word case. Perched high in her favorite beech tree, Jane read about Dr. Dolittle talking to the animals and Tarzan living with the apes in Africa. She wanted to go to Africa too and talk to the animals and live with the apes. When Jane's school days were over, she worked and saved to buy a ticket to Kenya. She hid her earnings under the parlor rug for safekeeping. Again, that's a compound word too, because the word safe and then the word keeping. Let's just try for kicks the word ticket. I see and check if that's a compound word. I know the word tick is a gross little bug that I hope no one ever has on them. But then I'm checking et. Is that a word that I know? I don't think so. So unfortunately, the word ticket is not a compound word. Safekeeping is, though, because the word safe is a word and the word keeping is a word that I know. Crossing the ocean, Jane stayed on deck and watched the waves even when the cold wind blew. She saw all the different blues and greens of the sea and fish that glowed through the dark water. As Jane stepped onto dry land, she closed her eyes in joy. Jane looked for work with animals. Again, if you're looking for compound words and you don't see one on a couple pages, that is okay. It won't always be there. A famous scientist, Louis Leakey, was looking for someone to watch and study chimpanzees to help us understand the animals most like us. Would Jane be interested? Yes, she would. Sounds like her dream. Jane traveled to the place in Tanzania where the chimps lived, Gombe. I wanted to learn things that no one else knew, uncover secrets, she wrote. She set up camp far from any human dwelling. That first night, Jane lay awake listening to new sounds, the croak of a frog, the hum of crickets, the laugh of a hyena, the hoot of an owl, and looking up at the stars. She knew she was home. I'm glad she finally got to do what she dreamed of. At dawn, Jane walked into the forest. Up high, she found a peak to watch from. Every day, she climbed to the peak to look for chimps. But though she could hear their pant-hoot calls to one another, she didn't see them. I'm going to pause right there. So we'll finish the rest of the story later this week, but I wanted to just go over our target again and see, kind of review what we did. We were looking for compound words, and I think we found a ton in there. So I just have a little kind of challenge for you guys. If you can make your own compound words using the words given here. So sun, something, rain, something, snow, something. And I wish you guys were here so we could write that together, but I'm thinking of what comes to mind. What's a compound word we can use with the word sun? I'm thinking there's actually a lot if you're thinking of it, but one thing I'm thinking about is the word sunshine. And I know that would be one word, two separate words put together, making a compound, and maybe you came up with something different. That's okay too. How about rain something? And I'm thinking of a one word. I know these are beautiful things that we see in the sky sometimes is the word rainbow. That makes a compound word. Maybe you were thinking the same or you have a different one too. And then snow. I'm thinking maybe a snowflake. So again, we just made compound words using two separate words that are words on their own. But you can kind of come up with different ones if you are able to as well. If you joined us yesterday, we talked about opinion writing. And an opinion is your view about something. And I was brave yesterday and shared that in my personal opinion, I like pineapple on my pizza. I know a lot of people don't think that it belongs on there, but you can't tell me I'm wrong because that's what I think and what I feel. That's my view and my opinion. A non-example again is that pineapple is a fruit. That's a true fact. So that's not a view about something because that's already true. Yesterday, to recap real quick, we brainstormed together some different opinions and we decided that we were going to write an opinion paragraph, start one, about me wanting a pet dog. And I know from personal experience, this happened to me when I was an elementary student. So yesterday, I introduced this graphic organizer for opinion writing. This just helps you keep your thoughts organized. So again, we state your opinion here, then give two different reasons and two different examples that support that, and then restate our opinion. Again, remember it was that fun word or Rio, kind of like Oreo the cookie, but we want to try and challenge ourselves and come up with two reasons. So that's why we do or Rio. So today I want to use the ideas that we already used yesterday and put that into complete sentences now. You could always do this on separate paper, journal, scratch paper. but I'm going to use it on the same kind of graphic organizer I have, and I have sentence stems already in there. So this is not cheating if you have some sentence frames in there already. I think that's super helpful for students, and it's great if you don't need them, but if you do need some support, because writing can be challenging sometimes, it's in there for you. So something for opinion writing is we start with "in my opinion," and then you state what your opinion is. So I had already written, "I believe I should have a pet dog." I'm also thinking about my audience right now, and I'm writing to my mom and dad, so they kind of know my experiences already. So I'm thinking of who am I writing to also while I'm writing this. Going back to the target from yesterday, which is the same, go ahead and read that learning target or focus with me. I will use the writing process to write an opinion paragraph. Again, this is a writing process. That means it takes some time. So again, I'm using what I had yesterday. I always keep this handy. If you were in my class, students would always keep this. They had to be responsible and keep it near them because yesterday we did all the kind of hard thinking, and we don't want to lose that. We also were able to keep it organized, and I don't want to write about something completely brand new. I already did all the thinking and hard work yesterday, so I want to use what we have. So what we're doing is trying to put our thoughts from yesterday into complete sentences now. I'm just keeping it in this organizer so you can clearly see the steps of it. So in my opinion, I believe I should have a pet dog. Here's again some sentence frames. One reason is, and I wrote responsible here. So I'm wondering, should I just do one reason is responsible? Do you think does that make sense? That doesn't sound right to me. So again, when we're taking our brainstorm ideas, I want to add some to make it a complete sentence. So what other words could I add to one reason is responsible? Make that into a complete sentence. I'm thinking right now. How about one reason is because, I am responsible. Just adding a few more words makes it into a complete sentence. One reason is because I am responsible. Again, this is like a rough draft, so I'm not going to worry about fixing my mistakes or anything, or worry about spelling at this point. So now I'm looking at, again, using what I had yesterday, feed fish. And I need to make sure, I should have said yesterday, you want to make sure that you remember you know what you're talking about. Because this is personal experience, I know what this was about. One example is, again, should I just write feed fish? One example is feed fish. Is that a complete sentence? I don't think that is. So let me add some more words to this sentence so that it completely makes sense. One example is, when I was younger, I fed the fish. I'm trying to, again, tell my parents that, hey, I did a job all by myself, even when I was younger. So now I'm ready for a dog. In an opinion piece, you're trying to persuade or convince somebody to let you kind of get what you want. Doesn't mean it's always going to happen, but we can try. So taking a look at the reason and example, making sure those connect. Now we're ready for reason 2. And I put walk on here. Should I put another reason is walk? That's not a complete sentence. So let's put that into a complete sentence, adding some more words to it. Another reason is, I will walk the dog. You can make this fancier later, but right now I just want to make sure. Notice how side by side now, sorry, I'm checking to see if you can see this, is I have walk here, and then, oh, look, I'm still talking about walking. And now it's just in complete sentences using the frames that I already had in there. So notice I'm not changing anything. I'm just adding more words to make it a nice complete sentence. Eventually, this will turn into a complete paragraph, and so you're already doing baby steps to it, which is awesome. So for example, I said I was going to walk the dog, and I need an example to support that reason. And I wrote on here that I walk every day, and maybe that's just around the block or around your apartment complex. For example, I walk every day, even in the rain. Maybe I'll add that. Even in the rain. I'm thinking already about, I know my parents are going to be busy working, cleaning, cooking, whatever they're doing at home. So I want to make them know and convince them that, hey, I will take care of the dog. Side note, I used to have a dog named Coco a long time ago when I was in elementary school, and my sister and I did not do a very good job of walking him. So he got bigger and bigger and bigger because he didn't exercise. But now I know, hey, I should have walked him every single day, and I know how important that is. So that's why it's one of my examples and a reason. So down here, it says restate opinion. That's your last O, the last stuff of the Oreo cookie. One thing I like to tell my students is I don't want to just copy what I already have up here. That makes it boring. I want people to be able to read this and be excited to read it. So I don't want to just copy exactly. One great concluding statement, all in all, tells your readers or listeners that you're all done talking. So all in all, and I want to kind of go back up here and use the reason that I had, state my opinion. I believe I should have a pet dog. All in all, I'm going to say these are the reasons, because hopefully the person read all of it. These are the reasons I think I should have a pet dog, period. So again, I did use some of the same words, but notice how it is a little different, the O and the O. First, I'm stating my opinion. In my opinion, I believe I should have a pet dog. And then I changed it a little bit to restate the opinion down here. All in all, these are the reasons I think I should have a pet dog. So it's the same idea, but rephrased just a tiny bit. Right now, we just put this into complete sentences, which is awesome. So to recap real quick, I had right here our ideas from yesterday that we're building on. Remember, this is a process. So we brain dumped, thought of one idea, organized it, and just put some words down into the organizer. And then today we used what we had. So don't forget about that. We used what we had and then wrote those into complete sentences. Now we're ready to kind of start a full paragraph that you don't need the lines, or you can use line paper for. But this is a great organizer where you captured all this in one spot. Now we can revise and edit this, which we'll do in the next couple days. See you then.
Hello again, third graders, math thinkers, and families. This is Mrs. Nelson here to continue our journey with multiplication this week. Today, I want to share a new strategy with you. Last time, we were looking at how to think about multiplication as equal groups, putting together equal groups to find a total. And we were also practicing how to draw pictures that can help us see what a multiplication equation looks like and use those pictures as a strategy to solve and find the total. Today, we are going to try a new strategy called repeated addition. So our learning target today is I can use repeated addition to solve a multiplication fact. A multiplication fact is the same thing as a multiplication equation or a multiplication problem. So repeated addition is the strategy today. And before we can talk about it and look at it and practice it, we need to review what those words repeated addition mean. So when we repeat something, when something is repeated, it happens over and over again. And addition is our math operation, which you're probably used to seeing that plus sign when you're doing addition. And when we're adding or doing addition in math, it just means that we're putting numbers together to find a total. And since multiplication is about putting equal groups together to find a total, hopefully you're seeing how that can be connected and how repeated addition can be used as a strategy. So that's what we're going to explore today. So I will switch to my whiteboard here so I can start showing you some examples of how we can practice using repeated addition to solve a multiplication problem. Again, for you to see, we're going to today learn how to use repeated addition as a strategy to solve a multiplication equation. And the way that you learned how to do that, what you'll show you can do is you will add one of the numbers in a multiplication equation to itself a certain number of times to find the total. And I want to teach a new word today that I didn't teach last time. And it's an important word to know when we're thinking about multiplication. And that word is product. So the product in a multiplication problem is the answer to a multiplication equation. Another way to think about what the product is, the total when all equal groups are added together or are put together. So when we are finding the answer to a multiplication problem, we're finding the product. I've been using the word total, and it's the same thing. Another important word to remember that we just talked about a second ago is repeated. Repeated just means something's happening over and over again, more than one time. And when we talk about repeated addition, we're adding a number to itself over and over again, however many times, in order to find the total. So let me write an example of a multiplication problem first, and we'll go step by step how to turn that into a repeated addition equation that we can use to solve. I'm going to go back to the example that we talked about last time, since we know this multiplication equation pretty well by now. So if I were solving a problem like 2 times 4, and I wanted to use repeated addition to solve this, I could either add the number 2 to itself 4 times, or I could add 4 to itself 2 times. I think I'm going to try the first way. So I'm going to take the number 2, and I'm going to repeatedly add it to itself. That just means I'm going to add 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. I have 4 2's that I'm adding together. The reason that I have 4 2's is because I'm solving 2 times 4. So just to make that connection. And when I add my 4 2's together, I see that I have 2 plus 2, that equals 4. And another 2 plus 2 here would be 4. So that's the same as adding 4 plus 4, which I know equals 8. If you wanted to draw a picture to check your work, you could do that. Remember, last time we already practiced drawing equal groups, 2 groups of 4, and we drew an array to show 2 rows of 4, and we did get that same answer of 8. So this is just showing you how we could have done repeated addition as a strategy, adding 2 to itself 4 times to get the same answer. Let's try it the other way. And this time, instead of adding 2 to itself, let's add 4 to itself 2 times. And change my color here. So if I wanted to do that, I could do, oops, 4 plus 4. I'm only adding for 2 itself, two 4's together because the equation is 2 times 4, so 2 groups of 4. And we should see that we're going to get that same answer of 8 when we use repeated addition of adding our 4's together. Let's look at one more example on the whiteboard before I give you a chance to try this on your own. So this time, we'll use another equation that we talked about in our last lesson. Let's try 2 times 6. We're using repeated addition, so we need to think about which of those numbers we want to add to itself. And then we have to think about how many times are we adding that number to itself. I think I'm going to start with 2 again. So if I want to figure out 2 times 6 with repeated addition, I could either do 2 added to itself 6 times like this, or I could actually also show this the other way, which would be just to add 6 to itself 2 times. So those are both examples of how to do the repeated addition to solve this. I can see right away that it's going to be a little bit faster and easier maybe just to add 6 plus 6. So let's try that way. Remember in math, it's good to use the strategy that works the best for you, that gets you to the answer in the easiest way. So I like 6 plus 6 as a way to figure this one out. And if you know your doubles for adding, you might already know that 6 plus 6 is equal to 12. Another mental math strategy you could use, if you didn't know 6 plus 6, but you knew 5 plus 5 is 10, then you know you would just add on 2 more 1s to that to figure out 6 plus 6. Either way, we've used that repeated addition, adding 6 to itself 2 times, to figure out that the product, or the answer, to 2 times 6 is 12. If we had 2 groups of 6, we would have 12 altogether. And another way we can check our answer would be to draw an array. Oops. Let me start over here so my array is a little bit easier to see. So I could do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2 rows of 6. And if I count them all up together, I see that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that shows that I can use repeated addition, adding 6 to itself to find the answer to 2 times 6, and I get 12. And here's my array that I use to check my work. Now I want to give you a chance to try this. I'm going to show you an equation, a multiplication problem, and I want you to think about how you could add one of the numbers to itself a certain number of times to figure out the answer. Let's try 3 times 4. So if you have a piece of paper and something to write with nearby, that would be a good way to figure this one out and try using repeated addition. Or if you need to go grab a piece of paper and a pencil, you can do that. If you feel like you could try in your head to do this repeated addition and use mental math, that's okay too. Think about which of those numbers you want to add to itself. And you know how many times you need to add that number to itself by looking at the other number. So another quick reminder too is when we look at 3 times 4, remember we want to think about it as 3 groups of 4. We could also think about it as 4 groups of 3. So something important to know about multiplication is you can switch those numbers around in your equation and it doesn't change the total. So back to our learning target that we're practicing, just in case you forgot since I've been talking a lot. You're trying to figure out how to use repeated addition to solve this problem. I'm drawing this little number sentence frame just in case you need a little help thinking about what number you could add repeatedly and how many times you could add it to itself to figure out the answer to this one. Give you a few more seconds and then we'll go over this answer. So something plus something plus something plus something. And I'm thinking about the number 3 and adding that number to itself. How many times do I need to add 3 to itself? I just look at that other number and that tells me. So I'm gonna do repeated addition, adding 3 to itself 4 times. Oops, my 3's are a little sloppy there. So if I did 3 plus 3, I know that equals 6. And if I add my other 3's, that's another 6. And then I can think about what 6 plus 6 is equal to, which is the same as our last example that we did. We get a total of 12. How did you do? Now let's think about, even though we already know the answer, what's the other repeated addition we could have done to solve this problem? Instead of adding 3 to itself 4 times, are you thinking what I'm thinking? We could also have solved this by adding 4 to itself 3 times. So we could have added 4 plus 4 plus 4. If we do our addition correctly, we should get that same answer. I'll double check and make sure. I know 4 plus 4 is 8. And if I add 4 more to that, 8 plus another 4, I get 9, 10, 11, 12. So we do get that same answer. So those are the two different ways we could have done repeated addition to solve 3 times 4. I'm just going to show those both examples. We did 4 plus 4 plus 4 on that last one. And our first try, we did 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3. And what I hope you're seeing is that either way is okay, as long as we're carefully doing our addition and making sure we're getting that same total both ways. That's what I love about math, is sometimes we can find an answer in 2 or 3 or 4 different ways, and you get to choose the strategy that you like best or that works best for you. All right, so that was just a little quick lesson on how to use repeated addition to solve a multiplication equation. Choose one of the numbers in the equation and add it to itself a certain number of times, and that is based on what the other number in your equation is. So in this example, we did 3 times 4, so we could add 3 to itself 4 times, or we could add 4 to itself 3 times. That's how we use repeated addition to solve a multiplication equation. In our next lesson, we will talk about how to use skip counting as a strategy to solve multiplication equations. And we'll connect skip counting, repeated addition, and drawing equal groups and arrays pictures so that you can start to see how all of our strategies are connected and they all work to help us figure out how to solve multiplication facts. Thanks again for joining me, and I'll see you all next time.
Bienvenidos niñas y niños. ¿Qué tal se la pasaron ayer? Hoy es nuestro segundo día juntos y seguimos con nuestro aprendizaje de matemáticas, que por cierto es mi materia favorita. Si recuerdan, yo soy la maestra Lorena Vázquez Y ayer estuvimos aprendiendo sobre diferentes estrategias para multiplicar. ¿Y qué es una estrategia? Una estrategia es el método que empleamos para resolver un problema. En este caso, el de la multiplicación. Y aprendimos que podemos representar la multiplicación en sumas repetidas, grupos iguales, una matriz, así como una ecuación. Ahora vamos a continuar con algo, si mal no recuerdo, yo les dejé encargada una tarea por ahí para que puedan practicar y aplicar lo que hemos aprendido. Entonces, ayer hicimos varios ejemplos con la adición repetida y una cosa curiosa que aprendimos es que en este ejemplo teníamos dos grupos de 4 baloncestos de básquetbol o balones de baloncesto. 4 más 4, encontramos que el producto era 8. Aquí tenemos 4 grupos de 2 sándwiches, si lo recuerdan. Y también el producto era de 8. Entonces, algo interesante que pudimos notar juntos es, piénsenlo, ¿qué notan ustedes entre esta representación de 2 grupos de 4 y esta de 4 grupos de 2? Piensen. Sí, si ustedes dijeron que 2 grupos de 4 es igual o lo mismo a 4 grupos de 2, tienen razón. Si yo multiplico 2 por 4, me da el mismo resultado que 4 por 2. Algo muy interesante, ¿no? Vamos a continuar. Y les dejé de encargado este trabajito con las 5 manzanas, porque muy bien recuerdo que me gustan las manzanas porque se cultivan y se cosechan aquí en Washington. Entonces, si tenemos este grupo de 5 manzanas, ¿cómo podríamos mostrar una suma repetida? Vayan por su hoja de papel o su tablero o simplemente si tienen la respuesta en mente para que puedan comprobar sus respuestas conmigo. Les voy a dar un segundo. ¿Listos? Está bien. Tenemos el primer grupo de 5 manzanas. Así que voy a tomar el 5 y lo voy a poner aquí. Aquí tenemos 5 manzanas y como es adición o suma repetidas, vamos a agregar el símbolo de más, que está aquí. Entonces tenemos que agregar otro grupo de, tienen razón, 5 manzanas. Entonces, otras 5 manzanas. Ahora tenemos un grupo de 5 manzanas, 2 grupos de 5 manzanas. Necesitamos el tercer grupo, 3 grupos de 5. Y como dije, estamos sumando, así que vamos a poner el símbolo de más. Vamos 5 más 5 más 5. Y vamos a sumarle otros 5. Aquí tienen 5. Y sumar otro grupo de 5. Y recuerden, tiene que ser 5 en cada uno porque si no, no es multiplicación y si no, no es suma repetida de la misma cantidad. Está bien. Entonces, resultó que tenemos 5 manzanas aquí, un grupo de 5. Está muy gruesa esa línea. 2 grupos de A5. 3 grupos de A5. 4 grupos de A5 y 5 grupos de 5. En total, tenemos 5 grupos de 5. ¿Fue el resultado que sacaron ustedes? Espero que sí. Ahora, ¿cómo podremos saber el total de esta suma? ¿Cómo podemos conseguir la respuesta? 5 grupos de 5 es igual a... ¿Qué método podrías usar tú? Compártelo con alguien que está cerca o solo piénsalo y manténlo en tu mente. ¿Qué método podré emplear para resolver este problema? Ya sé, un método es contar de 5 en 5. Es algo que aprendemos la mayoría muy rápidamente. Lo puedes empezar así. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. 5 veces 5 es 25. Entonces, el resultado viene siendo 25. 5 grupos de... ¿Cuántas manzanas hay en cada grupo? Correcto, 5. 5 grupos de 5 es lo mismo, usando aquí mi pluma mágica, que 25. Ahora, hay diferentes maneras de agrupar esto y contar. También podrían contarlo como 5 y 5 son 10. Aquí. 5 y 5 otra vez son 10. Y así puedo decir 10, 20, 25. Como ustedes prefieran. Muy bien, chicos y chicas. Ahora vamos a empezar con nuestra nueva meta y nuestro enfoque del día de hoy. Muy bien, otra vez, bienvenidos. Ayer ya dijimos, aprendimos que podemos mostrar multiplicación como sumas repetidas, grupos iguales, una matriz y una ecuación. Hoy nuestra meta es, quiero que la repitan conmigo desde su casa para que ustedes puedan también tenerla muy presente mientras estamos aprendiendo el día de hoy. Nuestra meta es, estoy aprendiendo a multiplicar utilizando o usando conjuntos iguales. Puedo dibujar grupos iguales para multiplicar. Simple, ¿verdad? ¿Han escuchado esa palabra, conjuntos? Quiero que piensen, especialmente nosotros que hablamos español, yo veo dos palabras juntas en la palabra conjunto. Voy a pensar. Conjunto. Eso me hace pensar cuando estoy yo junto con mi familia, junto con mis amigos, conjunto. ¿Qué podría significar la palabra conjunto? ¿Están pensando? Voy a darles unos segundos. Bueno, a ver, cuéntenme, si ustedes pensaron que un conjunto son objetos que están juntos, tienen la razón. La palabra del día de hoy es conjunto. Cuando ustedes me escuchen decir conjunto, quiero que ustedes repitan y digan conjunto, grupo de objetos. ¿Está bien? Intentamos de nuevo. Conjunto, conjunto, grupo de objetos. Ahora es su turno. Quiero escucharlos. Muy bien, niños y niñas. El día de hoy quiero que estén alertas porque cada vez que me escuchen decir la palabra del día, van a ustedes repetir el sonido y hacer el movimiento que les acabo de enseñar. Para la lección de hoy, también necesitan lápiz y papel o una pizarra con un marcador para que puedan ir practicando conmigo y vayan aplicando lo que vamos aprendiendo. ¿Listos? Vamos a comenzar. Está bien. Entonces, hoy aprendemos a multiplicar utilizando conjunto de grupos iguales. Y su trabajo al final en su hoja de papel o en sus pizarras es dibujar grupos iguales para multiplicar. Acuérdense que el concepto de grupos iguales es simplemente que la cantidad en cada grupo sea la misma. No puede cambiar. Entonces, el primer ejemplo que yo les voy a dar, me van a ver aquí poner unos corazones, unos objetos, y les voy a querer que vayan pensando cuántos grupos hay y qué cantidad hay en cada grupo, o sea, en cada conjunto. Muy bien. A ver, corazones que me encantan. Coloco otro por aquí y otro por aquí. Y aquí hay mucho espacio en blanco. Vamos a poner otro por aquí. y otro por aquí. Muy bien. Así que ahora tomen un segundo y traten de trabajar este ejemplo. Les voy a dar un tiempo. ¿Listos? Vamos. ¿Cuántos grupos hay y qué cantidad hay en cada grupo? Bueno, vamos a ver. En este grupo de aquí tenemos 1, 2, 3 corazones. En este grupo tenemos 3. Acá tenemos otro grupo de corazones que están juntitos. 1, 2, 3. También hay 3. Hasta ahora los grupos son iguales. Y en este último tenemos 1, 2, 3. Si ustedes dijeron que hay 3 grupos de 3 en cada conjunto, acertaron. Muy bien. Entonces, 3 grupos de 3 o 3 por 3 está representado en este primer cuadro que tienen aquí. ¿Cuánto hay en total? 3 grupos de 3. Vamos a ver. 3. No sé contar de 3 en 3. Si no sabemos contar de 3 en 3, podemos contar empezando con un grupo que sí sabemos. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Hay 9 en total. Así que el producto de 3 por 3 es 9. Muy bien. Ahora vamos a intentar otro ejemplo usando estos círculos. Vamos a ver. Ponemos un círculo rojo. Vamos a intentar algo diferente. ¿Qué tal si hacemos esto? Ok. Muy bien. Una estrellita por acá. Un corazón por acá. Y otro por acá. Interesante. Vamos a ver. Una estrella por acá. Oh, no necesito este. Este. Y este más. A ver. ¿Y por qué no? Vamos a hacer otro aquí porque hay un espacio en blanco que no me gusta. Muy bien. Ahora, niños y niñas, me han visto poner aquí diferentes conjuntos. Muy bien. De objetos. Quiero que tomen un segundo y en su pizarra o en su hoja de papel anoten cuántos grupos y cuánta cantidad hay en cada grupo. Esperar aquí. Veo como que aquí hay uno, también acá hay otro. Pero hay estrellas y corazones y círculos mezclados. Quizás ustedes estén pensando, pero señora Vázquez, el conjunto, excelente, tiene círculos revueltos con corazones y estrellas. Y anteriormente no había hecho eso. Recuerden que los grupos tienen que ser iguales de cantidad, no de los objetos que tiene adentro. Entonces, en este ejemplo, tenemos 1, 2, 3, 4 objetos en un grupo. 4. ¿Ok? Muy bien. En este otro también tenemos 1, 2, 3, 4. Entonces, en este también tenemos 4. Muy bien. Voy a escribirlo aquí. 4. En este otro, 1, 2, 3, 4. también tenemos 4. Mi lápiz no quiere funcionar. Y en este último también tenemos 4. Así que lo importante de este ejemplo es que recuerden que los objetos no tienen que ser necesariamente los mismos. Podemos estar contando diferentes lápices y lapiceras, cuadernos, rocas que no son idénticas, pero siempre el grupo tiene que tener la misma cantidad. Así que en nuestro ejemplo hay 1, 2, 3, 4 grupos. Y hoy como quedé muy inspirada. Vamos a ver. No me salió muy bien. Cada uno tiene 4. Cada grupo tiene 4. Así que tenemos 4 grupos de 4 o 4 por 4, que en este caso son 16. Pero niños y niñas, les he dado 2 ejemplos y dijimos que su trabajo el día de hoy era poder dibujar los grupos iguales. Así que les voy a dar tiempo para que ustedes 2 dibujen grupos iguales. Yo les daré la cantidad y ustedes tendrán que salir con el ejemplo y regresar mañana con sus resultados. Así que el primero, vamos a ver qué voy a pensar. Vamos a hacer el primero de 2 grupos de 6. 2 grupos de 6. ¿Cómo podemos representarlo dibujando grupos iguales? El segundo, vamos a hacer 5 grupos de... Oh, perdón. 5 grupos de... 4. Hoy no quiere colaborar mi lapicera mágica. Entonces, 5 grupos de 4. Así tienen, niños. Mañana quiero que me traigan el resultado. Usen sus pizarras, compartan con sus seres queridos. ¿Cómo pueden representar conjuntos? Muy bien. De 2 grupos de 6 y 5 grupos de 4. Y no se pierdan el día de mañana porque les daré la respuesta y puedan comprobar. Y les voy a dar una pista. A mí me ayudan veces, antes de poder dibujar algo, me ayuda a tomar objetos, así que si salen afuera a jugar, pueden tomar piedritas o rocas o palitos, ir haciendo los grupos con las diferentes cantidades y luego toman eso y lo hacen en un dibujo. Muy bien, estaré esperando. Hemos llegado al final de nuestra lección, así que hasta la próxima. Recuerden, deben de utilizar cantidades iguales cuando estamos hablando de un conjunto para la multiplicación. Si no, no viene siendo multiplicación, solo viene siendo sumas de diferentes objetos. Hasta la próxima. Me dio mucho gusto estar con ustedes el día de hoy. Que tengan una muy feliz tarde. Adiós.